Yeah, that ship has sailed already with the institutional investments from and the things like BlackRock and the ETFs. It's already done, right? We already see that they have a million in Bitcoin holdings, 1 million BTC. So a country buying it at this point is actually, it's going to be very difficult for them to reach that level even.
I think in this bull market, it would be maybe a little tough for me to see it above that. But anybody who's underestimated Bitcoin has lost. So I don't want to be the guy underestimating Bitcoin. My first three funds were called 10T. It stood for 10 trillion. And that's the whole value of the ecosystem. I thought, we were at 300 billion in the middle of 19, and then we could get to 10T, 10 trillion.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a very rapid change in the next few years whereby everyone just moves to Bitcoin because there is no hope left in the existing system.
When Donald Trump stepped back into office, crypto enthusiasts expected fireworks. After all, a pro-crypto administration should have meant a surge in Bitcoin and digital assets, right? But instead of an immediate moonshot, the market found itself in a strange limbo, neither soaring nor crashing, just drifting. Bitcoin and other crypto assets have seen sell-offs, confusing many investors who anticipated a post-inauguration rally. Some experts had predicted that Trump's return would ignite a massive upside, with deregulation and innovation driving institutional adoption. But reality had a different script. Others argue that Trump's tariff policies and broader macroeconomic tensions have cast a shadow over financial markets, slowing down what could have been a stronger breakout. Meanwhile, the broader digital space is shifting. NVIDIA, the undisputed king of AI-fueled stock gains, took a hit after the launch of DeepSeek, a disruptive new player in artificial intelligence. This turbulence isn't just about stocks. It's affecting sentiment across the entire tech and digital investment landscape. But here's where things get interesting. Some of the biggest names in Bitcoin, like Samson Mow and Tapiero, aren't worried. In fact, they're doubling down. According to them, the real Bitcoin bull run hasn't even started yet. They believe that despite market jitters, all signs point to a new all-time high within months. With institutional money flowing in, Bitcoin ETFs gaining momentum, and macroeconomic uncertainty pushing investors toward hard assets, Bitcoin is primed for a historic surge. So, is the bull market over? Not even close. If these experts are right, we could be standing at the edge of another parabolic run-up. In today's video, we break down these expert insights and explore what this means for you as an investor. But before we dive in, smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more top-tier crypto insights. Your support helps this channel grow, and I truly appreciate it. Now, let's get into it.
It's not going to be gradual, and I think this is why we're trying as hard as we are to get countries onboarded to Bitcoin, because the faster they implement some strategy, some education campaign, the better it will be for those people, because they won't suffer that demonetization event for when their currency goes to zero and they suddenly need Bitcoin.
If I want to Bitcoin be the currency, the global currency, I have to take a stress test on the network and see if it can hold. What do you think about that? Do you think the runes could be a really good stress test for the Bitcoin?
It's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, there's no need to stress test layer one. We know it's not scalable, right? Even if you have gigabyte-sized blocks, it's still not scalable. So you can say we're trying to stress test it, but you're kind of stupid because we kind of know these things already. It doesn't take a genius to realize you can't scale a settlement network for payments. So if you want to stress test something, stress test the layer two, but that's not the point of these things. These things are meant to extract value from retail investors that don't know better. So if you do know better, you shouldn't be doing that. This is the definition of a scam, right? You should not be selling a vision to people that don't know better than you do. And I think these people that are developing these things, they know better. They're just not willing to give up the illusion because they want money. Most things that are useful to Bitcoin, they're probably not going to make the people a ton of money really quickly. Like real scaling technologies, it's going to take time to develop. It's going to take time to roll out. It's kind of a joke to think that I can make some meme thing and it's going to help Bitcoin in some way. Like, it doesn't work that way. There's real proof of work in developing something meaningful and getting organic adoption. These things are more like pump and dump altcoins. They'll fade out over time. No one will care. I mean, if you look at ordinals, it's counterparty, but with a twist. There's always been something like that. And there will be something after that too. This is why we're Bitcoin maximalists. There's no analog comparison to Bitcoin to a casino. It's like people that want hard assets and go to a place together to meet, to talk about it, right? There's nothing like that for a casino comparing, like, but there's hundreds and thousands of casinos around the world, right? And they're massive and they're beautiful and people will go there and they'll gamble. And that's really what this is. And I don't think it's anything different than a casino. You might get rich, but you're probably not.
Don't you think that the government adoption, Bitcoin government adoption, I don't know, rip Bitcoin off the hands of the retails?
Yeah, that ship has sailed already with the institutional investments from and the things like BlackRock and the ETFs. It's already done, right? We already see that they have a million in Bitcoin holdings, 1 million BTC. So a country buying it at this point is actually, it's going to be very difficult for them to reach that level even. So I think within a couple of years, we'll probably see the ETFs probably double to like 2 million, maybe 3 if they're really lucky. But the ship has sailed. Like, there will always be essentially held Bitcoin with custodians, with governments, etc. But the most important thing is that people can still access Bitcoin without needing these entities. So that is the real key thing. And when a government adopts it, there's usually educational campaigns accompanying that, like in El Salvador. Now, if Chivo was non-custodial, that'd be even better. And I think this is what we hope to achieve with Aqua. We can work with governments to create non-custodial wallets for their people, where the government's not holding the money for them. But you know, it's a question like what is the balance at the end of Bitcoin adoption? It's going to be like, how much percentage will institutions have, ETFs, corporations, and governments and people. But the important thing with Bitcoin is that you'll always be able to have it in your own wallet without someone else holding it for you. And that's what matters. People generally know there's a lot of organic adoption. But I think the most important thing is really other countries adopting Bitcoin, both at the top level and from the bottom up level. So initiatives like Bitcoin Jungle in Costa Rica are very important. Bitcoin Lake. Hopefully there will be something in Argentina soon too. We're trying to spin something up. But all of these different expansions of Bitcoin adoption around the world in LATAM and other places are very critical. If El Salvador is the only country that has a significant Bitcoin adoption, then I don't think that will be sustainable. They'll be pressured by things like IMF or other supranational entities to stop doing that. But if we can get other countries to adopt, I think that solidifies Bitcoin adoption. And that's really, I think, the key takeaway here, and why we're so passionate about our mission to accelerate Bitcoin adoption, because we're trying to create more countries that are friendly to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will grow in those countries to cover the whole world.
Dan Tapiero's bold Bitcoin prediction for 2025. You won't believe this. Few voices in the crypto space command as much respect as Dan Tapiero, a veteran macro investor who has been bullish on Bitcoin for years. And in 2025, his conviction hasn't wavered. In fact, it's only grown stronger. In his latest outlook, Tapiero lays out a mind-blowing prediction for Bitcoin's trajectory, making the case that the bull market is just getting started. He dives deep into what's driving Bitcoin's next explosive move, from institutional adoption to the shifting global economy. But that's not all. He also shares his thoughts on Ethereum, breaking down what's really happening under the hood and how it fits into the broader digital asset revolution. If you thought Bitcoin's best days were behind it, think again. Tapiero's insights paint a picture of a future where crypto is more dominant than ever. Stick around as he breaks down his analysis. Let's get back to the video.
I wanted to ask you about your opinion on Ethereum. So a lot of people are saying that Ethereum is dead because of the poor performance in 2024. It has been underperforming Bitcoin for over 2 years already. Well, it seems that you have a bullish view on Ethereum, and you think that Ethereum will come back in 2025. Why do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I've been positive pretty much the whole way, and I've said so on Twitter, and was bullish at 300 and 600, and when it dipped down to 12, 1300, 3500, 3300 is a pretty high price. I think it's doing well. I would say Bitcoin and Ethereum are the core assets of the digital asset ecosystem. They have achieved network effect. They have the largest on Ethereum, the largest number of programmers that are working on top of ETH. It's the most, alive. I mean, some people would argue Solana. I think Solana is just a little younger. It's trailing behind Ethereum in its development. And if you look at the prices as well from inception, I think what Ethereum is doing is just completely normal. And what Solana is doing following Ethereum is also quite normal. Those are the three I think that are, the core assets. Solana is probably transitioning to that. But I mean, Ethereum is a very well developed ecosystem. I don't see, it'll have its ebbs and flows, but nothing has proven a better smart contract platform that we've seen. So look, people in the space are just very impatient. Markets do the most that they can do to frustrate the greatest number of people. And that's how markets work.
Where are we now in the cycle? And what is your Bitcoin price outlook for 2025?
We just broke the all-time highs of 21. So they were like 68, 70,000. So we broke 68, 70,000 on Bitcoin, and then we went up to 100. And I said months and months ago, and I even said weeks ago, that markets like to stop at big round numbers. And we're going to spend some time chopping around 100,000. I still think that that's my view. It could be days, weeks, months. I don't know. 100,000 on Bitcoin seems to me to be like the biggest of big round numbers. If you've owned Bitcoin for a long time, or you bought it in 2019 at 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, a lot of people are sitting on very, very large gains here. And some of those people will want to go out and buy a new house or a car or do something else. I don't know. So I think you have a natural, 100,000 was a natural profit taking place for many, many people. So I think we're here for a little while. Could, as I said, months of just sideways chopping about. And you can feel the angst a little bit on Twitter, on X, right? People are like, oh, I read a story today. The Bitcoin highs for the bull market are in. So I highly doubt that a mere, 40, 50% rally above the previous highs is the end of this bull phase. I think we're resting here. And look, conservatively, I've been saying about 150 to 180,000 on Bitcoin. That's been my sort of conservative view. That would take Bitcoin up to sort of like $4 to $5 trillion in value. I think that's a good place. It could overshoot and head up to 250 though. There is a world where it can go to 250, 300. I think in this bull market, it would be maybe a little tough for me to see it above that. But anybody who's underestimated Bitcoin has lost. So I don't want to be the guy underestimating Bitcoin. My first three funds were called 10T. It stood for 10 trillion. And that's the whole value of the ecosystem. I thought, we were at 300 billion in the middle of 19, and then we could get to 10T, 10 trillion. I think we're going to get to 10 trillion this cycle, right? 5 trillion potentially on Bitcoin, 2 or 3 trillion on the other coins, and then another 2 to 3 trillion on the value of the businesses that are growing up in the space. So I think we hit 10T this cycle. Could be at the end of this year, maybe mid-26. And then I think after that, after that move, of course, we'll have another bear market, just like we did in, second half of 22, 23.
And that's a wrap. Dan Tapiero's insights paint a bold future for Bitcoin and Ethereum. But what do you think? Will Bitcoin hit new all-time highs in 2025? Where does Ethereum fit into the future of finance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe for more expert crypto insights. Your support helps this channel grow, and I truly appreciate it. Stay informed, stay bullish, and I'll see you in the next one.